lot of times the only way a young Hispanic can identify with their culture is through its music and dance. A lot of ways. And in this area of the United States especially, spanning from California through Arizona, up into Nevada, New Mexico, and into Texas even, one of the greatest ways to reach a young student is through mariachi music.
Music plays a basic role in learning for kids. I think the brain actually develops differently. If you've encountered or had experience with any musical instrument or music or dance, any of that, that it actually affects learning, impacts learning, and it's a different way for the brain to function, just like bilingual education. If you're bilingual, your brain just interprets information differently. That's why music is important for students, for all kids. It creates a different perspective for students. To see students evolve who have been involved in music, whether it's in science or math, it's in the research. It's valid.
In every conference that I've gone, bilingualism is the rule, because I think you need to. I think it speaks volumes that the first International Mariachi Conference did not start in Mexico. It started in the United States of America by the Chicano element of that community, which is very interesting. You know, the Mexican-American influence is undeniably huge.
The concept of student workshops was the first thing that kind of came forth. And so we thought, now, what kind of workshops can you have for students? So what we did is we modeled the workshops after professional workshops, where you go to a workshop as a professional and you get your registration and you attend the sessions.
I can kind of remember probably around being about 10 years old, and then all of a sudden, probably one of my fondest memories is right when Mariachi Vargas came in. At that time we had Mariachi Cobre and Mariachi Vargas showing us, which to me was like, you know, now that I look back on that and I'm like, holy moly, that's like having the Yankees or the Red Sox come and teach your Little League team how to play baseball, you know?
It's probably the thing I look forward to the most every year, other than Christmas.
For the first years, we didn't have music. So we invited Cobre and we invited Camperos, and they're the ones that wrote the original music for students that we were going to be using.
We 20 trumpet players were in a room, and there were 4 teachers. It was Steve and Fernie from Mariachi Cobre. Then it was Federico and Rigoberto, who are the 2 trumpet players with Mariachi Vargas. So 4 teachers and 20 students. We really got to know those guys well. I joined my first mariachi and my first orchestra when I was 15 at the same time. And so I could read music better. And I remember that Federico from Mariachi Vargas came up, and he saw they gave us complicated music. And you know, I could play it. Everybody else was struggling just trying to learn the notes. And Federico came over and he said, you know what, you're playing all the notes better than anybody else who's in here, but you're not playing the music the way it goes. He said, this is the way it's supposed to be played. And you know, he showed me a few little tips. I remember at first struggling a little bit. And I remember the 3rd or 4th time, you know, I just like this, and he just stopped and goes, okay, that's the way you're supposed to do it. And that was the first time that I just realized that mariachi music has this style that's separate from other sorts of music. And you can play all the notes right, but you might not be playing the music right.
Over time now, more and more students have been in the conference since they were in 4th grade, graduated, gone on to college, and become instructors.
My first actual playing experience was in 5th grade, and Naticano's up there and he's calling a song and everybody's getting excited and they're playing it. And he calls a song and he asks who wants to sing it, and me, just because I had no inkling of necessarily a social boundary, I waved my hands like, I want to sing it, and he looks down at me for a split second and hands me the microphone. And in front of the hundreds and hundreds of musicians who are there, I'm getting like teared up thinking about this again because this is such an incredible experience. I sang the entire song from beginning to end, and I didn't speak Spanish, so I sang it phonetically, just what I heard of the recording of Vargas over and over and over. I just grabbed a mic and sang it.
Being next to those men and women who are professional, it gives the students something to look up to aspire to. which is another thing that's evolved over time. The class instruction is more sophisticated than ever. And now the kids are very sophisticated with their music. The older generation has moved on. It's a younger generation coming through. And so it'll be interesting to see what we see in the next 10 years from now.